Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to city council reports. We will begin with Councilmember Buckland.
I should be able to be done in about half an hour, since we haven't met for a while.
You're going to take up Keith Martin's
That's right. I'm going to take up the rest of the balance of his time. Attended the Sacramento Area Council of Governments Government Relations Committee meeting, and one of the topics that came up during that was AB 3194, which is a bill by Daley dealing with the Housing Accountability Act. There's more discussion to be done on this, but basically what it does is it tells local jurisdictions that zoning requirements and limitations have to be lifted in regard to small housing units on properties where the owner of the home lives on the same property. So building small granny shacks and not limiting them to age requirements, but to income needs, which would help alleviate some of the housing crisis that we see in affordable housing within the state of California. Also attended National Night Out. Got around to 4 different locations. Had a great time. Refused to eat the hot dogs though, and because the chicken looked really, really good just across the street over here. Also attended the Sutter Buttes Flood Control Agency Finance Committee meeting. Essentially what we're looking at is a way to move forward the project in the South Sutter Basin. There's $50 million of New Start money available for finishing up some levee repairs. The question is, do we let the federal government, who is not notably very quick at getting projects done, and we only point to the Natomas Basin project, which is not underway yet, or the start and stops on the projects over in Yuba County. But looking at the opportunities, do we as Sutter Butte Flood Control start that process and then work through some of the federal legislative pieces that need to be put in place, which would mean that we need to get a few members of Congress on board to change just a small piece of language. We think that may come around somewhere in December, possibly January, and be able to move that project forward on a local effort and then get reimbursed for the work. We also had our Sabuca board meeting days later, and a number of things came up, and basically they're going to be bringing back at the next board meeting direction regarding that $50 million and how we're going to proceed forward. Last week attended SACOG for the full board meeting, and through our 4-year update of the Metropolitan Transportation Plan and Sustainable Community Strategy. There were a number of funded projects that were listed. Yuba Sutter Transit took a big chunk of it, but we also were the recipient of a piece, and I wish Tom had stuck around, that links up that park to Hooper Road adjacent to the canal. It's about a $1.9 million project. The funding is not immediate. It's programmed for completion in 2024, but we may have some advantages that we can use to advance some funding on that. Over the weekend, hats off to John Cassidy, the crew out at Peachtree, KKCY 1031, David Briggs, the whole crew really put on a special event. They could have turned down the thermometer just a little bit, or the thermostat on the evening. It was a little bit warm out there, but the Tyler Rich concert, everything went really, really well but Tyler had to do his acoustic set. but that may have been the best part of the night. It certainly was a great night, and these guys probably have more because they went up and showed off on stage with me.
Great, thank you. Next, we have Councilmember Cardoza.
Okay. I had 2.5 pages of things, so I just put them in the trash since it's getting late. So I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna make it short. Just highlight some highlights. Attended all my board meetings. It's been over a month since we had a meeting, so I did attend all my board meetings last month. The Chamber of Commerce had quite a few ribbon cuttings last month. We have a lot of businesses in our community. It's very nice being honored. Councilman Cleveland and I seem to be attending quite a few together, plus the rest of the council here. I'll just pick 3 good topics. We attended Yuba City Fair. Had a great time at it. National Night Out. I had the privilege of I hit all 11 spots. It was some of them were short, and some of them were a long time, but I was able to see all the neighborhoods, and from passing out prizes to drawing tickets for winners. So it was a fun time on that. And then, like John said, the Tyler Rich concert this weekend. Councilman Cleveland and myself had the honor of giving Tyler Rich the key to Yuba City. And other than that, that's it for me. I'll make it short and sweet. Thank you.
He said the key doesn't fit in the door.
Thank you, Manny. Councilmember Cleveland.
Yes, has actually been quite busy for me. Some of the consent items actually that we had on the agenda were the committees, Transit Authority and then the Regional Waste Management Authority, giving the funding to Ecology for the needs that they did present to us. We reviewed those and deemed them proper to do. Then also, let me see as I'm going through here real quick so I don't have to write them down. We welcomed Colonel and Ms. Clark, the new Beale Air Force Commander. That's here. He's actually quite a fun, interesting gentleman. I would count him to be mischievous in some ways. So he should be a fun gentleman to have in our community and be involved with us. DBA, Downtown Business Association, we did some swearing in of the Downtown Business Association, which is basically Plymouth Street. They have a new board and I think 3 new members, bringing some energy and new ideas to that group, which is really good. Of course, Yuba City Fair. I volunteered to be a chairman of one of the burger booth this year for Kiwanis, and wow, it wasn't 4 days for me. It was a total of about 10 days of effort, setting it up, planning, and then cleaning afterward. That was quite a task, but even with the smoke, we had a great time. He's coughing over here already, or still. And so that turned out really well. Of course, all the events that the fair had, the animals that were raised by the different agricultural and farming and groups teaching our youth responsibility and giving them a good time of learning how to work with animals. Was at FRACMID, Feather River Air Quality Management District. We did some allocations of some grant funds and then talked about some new funding that may be coming our way from through the federal and channeled through the state. Did tours at the 5th Street Bridge construction. It was excellent to see the progress they're making there. I think some of it was posted online, so you can go back and look at it. National Night Out. I didn't do like I do sometimes and try to hit as many as I can. This time I spent a little extra quality time at a couple of them and did it that way. So to be flood control, he covered it. Moving forward, and man, what a fantastic project we have already finished, and then now the completion of it for the lower section. Not done with flood control and protection in this basin, but we definitely have a reputation throughout the nation in many different states with the engineering and the flood control and protection, Corps of Engineers, and with FEMA. We have a fantastic reputation of a community that works well and knows what they're talking about. And they really enjoy working with communities that don't rely on politics, but they rely on their own picking themselves up by the bootstraps, getting it done, learning about what they need to do, and then doing it. So that has been one of the biggest assets that we've had, is our people going there ready to get the job done. Mosquito vector, the mosquitoes are out there. They're going to get really bad in the near future. We've had a little bit of extra on the Zika virus type of mosquito, but so they upped their spraying and their trapping, and they've got it back down into decent control again. I mean, the millions and millions of mosquito fish that they grow every single year. Other than that, just out there being busy in the community. Lots of, as you said, ribbon cuttings and all kinds of stuff. We missed one tonight because of being here, but a lot of growing businesses, new businesses are happening in the Yuba City area, especially Yuba City. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. Got Vice Mayor Harris.
Yeah, I run the risk of reiterating. I too attended many ribbon cuttings and community events, and most notably National Night Out, which is always a good time. Get out there in the community with folks, face to face, listen to their concerns. So a special thank you to Commander Tappy from the PD. He drove me around and my foster son and showed us a good time out there with those folks. Peach Festival over in Marysville was a good time. The Downtown Business Association, the annual meeting and the swearing-in ceremony, several of us were there. That was really good to meet with those folks again. Yuba City Fair, once again, I think a very good success, very well attended, especially the animal portion. I noticed this year was very busy over there. I also attended and had the opportunity to welcome the mischievous Colonel Clark over at the country club. Nice guy. Happy to have him. A couple other my boards and commissions that meet. I missed one because of an illness at Yuba City Arts. Their meeting is again tomorrow, so it's a little bit early to report on that. But the other ones, Gil Sizer and whatnot, were all canceled, so I don't have any of those to report on. I do have three projects I'm working on the side very early on. One through Yuba City Arts, hopefully. We'll see. I have a meeting on that tomorrow, a multicultural event we're working on. Also a mentorship program funded by a nonprofit entity to help us sponsor through that, and then the youth leadership forum that Mayor Dibble has been kind enough to MC. We're going to piggyback on the Celebration of Heroes at Crossroads Church on September 22nd. So other than that, again, still staying busy, going from thing to thing when we can.
Great, thank you. And as far as my report, I won't repeat some of the same events, but always a great success is the National Night Out. I think that's just bringing our community together and really engaging with them. We also did a bridge tour with the construction, so we had the privilege of being able to get out there and see how the construction's going. Amazing work, amazing. Just the whole synchronizing of how events are going. The group out there is wonderful. I did the DBA swear-in for the board members. I also did the Yuba City Fair opening on the first night. Great attendance all the way around. I love seeing our community more and more involved in all of the engagement that's happening out there. Other projects that I'm working on is the Brooklyn Study Mission, which is a group of us from the Sacramento region are going to be headed out to Brooklyn on economic development, workforce, and things like that, and see how Brooklyn did it so we can bring it back to our regions as well. I'm also working with the Arts Council as well on some additional projects for the Plumas area, and working also with building obstacle courses to finish up our testing process with police department. So working on some private sector areas that we can get that moving along and build those up. So aside from that, I think that's about it. Yeah.
I have to apologize about Tyler Rich not saying something because
Oh,
there was a reason that they were also having Tyler Rich, and it was to help support the canine obstacle course that we're looking at building over here. And so I forgot about mentioning that. And so he's contributing back to our community and just even showing up and all that he does. So that was, you know, an honor to have him and send that money to our canine.
back this
Sorry.
way. Awesome.
Forgot about it.
Great. Thank you. With that being said, we are going to go ahead and adjourn for the evening. Thank you.